Welcome to TYT's live coverage of the Democratic debate taking place tonight in Durham, New Hampshire. Of course, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton will be competing head-to-head. That's what they say, right?
Yes.
In sports, head-to-head.
Head-to-head.
Mano y womano.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
It should be interesting.
Is it Lena Durham? What?
That seems kind of like chops for Hillary then.
Because she's on Hillary's side.
I've heard that.
Yes, she is.
And, you know, a lot of the other Hollywood liberals are going for Hillary because they don't want to get yelled at by Lena Durham. You know, that's what I've heard.
that's exactly right.
The screaming, come on.
Yes.
So I love hearing the Democratic debates for a completely different reason for why I love hearing the Republican debates. Republican debates, I feel like are a little more entertaining in that a lot of crazy things are being thrown around and said. With the Democratic debate, I feel like you get a little bit more information. Not a little bit more, a lot more information.
Well, at least they acknowledge science.
They acknowledge science.
They acknowledge science, and then they're a little bit more tethered to reality, right?
That's true.
Less warmongering. There's still some fear-mongering on the Hillary side, but not anywhere close to a Republican, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I know that you wait eagerly to hear about Wall Street executives being thrown in jail for your own personal reasons.
So if you guys are essentially watching us watch the debate, and if you pay close attention to my body language every time Bernie gets fired up about money in politics, you will see how excited I get, right? Like I shake a little bit.
Yeah, so if you have kids in the room, maybe put them to bed.
You should have seen me at the Bernie watch party when he came out to speak. You know, I couldn't have been less a impartial journalist guy. I had a sign, I'm jumping up and down.
Oh, I did see that. I saw that, yeah.
You made an appearance on Snapchat.
Oh, you're kidding.
Irina Nikita, our executive producer, Snapchatted you, and I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Oh, I was excited. It's exciting. It's the future. It's history. It's happening. It's a movement. Yeah. I was right there. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. I was very happy.
This will be the first Democratic debate that will not include Martin O'Malley. Martin O'Malley did suspend his campaign. So it's just going to be Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, which I'm pretty happy about because I just don't want to get distracted with anything that's unnecessary.
Yes. And here's what wasn't going to happen. Martin O'Malley winning the presidency.
That's exactly
It's too bad. He seems like a nice guy. He would probably make a fine governor if he went back to doing that. Maybe he could run for Senate someday. Mm-hmm. But in this cycle, he was not going to become president. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders just elbowed him out of the room.
So he suspended his campaign. We got Rick Santorum suspended his campaign.
Rand Paul.
And
Mike Huckabee.
I heard Jeb Bush put his campaign in detention. So,
exactly.
Come on, give me a break.
The only thing that can bring his campaign back to life is applause. Exactly. He might die.
Please clap.
Aw, come on, Jeb.
You could see the moment his heart ripped in half.
And you could see the urine slowly going down the leg of his pants. I felt so bad for that kid.
And I was
so bad for him.
If you watch that video, the kids, the young people in the background, you could see them like when he said they go, like they laughed at him.
Wait, he's running for president?
I actually do genuinely feel sorry.
I felt bad for him. And it's not as bad as people were saying in the headlines. He was joking.
You know what? There comes a moment, because we're human, all right? So we feel bad. But you just keep remembering that Jeb, just as recent as last week, bragged about defunding Planned Parenthood and taking Medicaid away from poor people.
Oh, fuck that guy. Let's make fun of him some more.
So let's not feel bad about it. And he's got millions of dollars, and he's taking health care away from poor women. So
no applause for you.
Please clap.
Please. You couldn't hear his name without hearing them.
Come on, give me a break.
And now it's like, please.
No, he's begging.
It's too much. It's too much. No other candidates even reached the first level. He's already gone to level 2.
He reeks of insecurity. I mean, that's the last. Would you feel comfortable getting on a plane and he was your pilot? Oh, come on, give me a break. I know how to do it. Come on. It won't fall. Come on, give me a break. I know.
Don't need that. Yeah.
Come on, you guys. Is it shaking? It's not shaking too bad. Come on. I mean, plain shake. Give me a break.
So I believe we have Jordan Chariton in New Hampshire, and he is on the field. He's doing our political reporting. He's covering this election. So Jordan, give me the nitty-gritty on what's happening in New Hampshire. Tell me about the environment. What have you experienced? Anything notable?
Well, I'll start with the most notable thing. I just wrapped an interview with a gentleman saying he's running for president, wearing a sombrero and holding a sign called White Man's Walk.
That sounds fun.
Wait till it goes up on the channel. It was a doozy. He believes white people have been over-villainized in the media and on TV, and there needs to be an open discussion about the issues facing white people. I must have asked him about at least 9 or 10 times one issue that's facing white people, worse off than minorities. Didn't seem ready for prime time.
Melanoma.
I didn't know that you got that interview with Trump. That's awesome.
Why the
Trump's
sombrero?
wearing a sombrero.
Why the sombrero?
Yeah.
He actually, his money quote was, "Somebody has to be a suspected racist so we can have an open discussion on race."
We have those, though.
They're all over the place.
On Saturday, they're going to be filling the stage.
Where are we going to find a suspected racist in the GOP?
He does not support Donald Trump, which is another head scratcher.
Wow.
So does he, okay, so he's in New Hampshire. Does he identify with any political party? Does he consider himself a Democrat or a Republican?
He is a Democrat, and he says he would support Bernie. When I asked him if he feels if Bernie saw what he was doing out here, if Bernie would support him, he said, of course not.
So you did see, there was a joke going around on Twitter. I don't know if you tweeted it, Jordan, but I did see it. And did you see the joke where they said, it's unfair to Donald Trump to have the Iowa caucuses on February 1st because most of his supporters were busy on Facebook telling everybody there should be a White History Month?
Yes, I did see that. This gentleman, you know what? It's ridiculous to sign his hat, but what he was saying jives a lot with some of the people I've met at Trump rallies. They feel like the changing demographics. He actually mentioned that in 20 years, white people will be the minority. It's actually going to be much sooner than that.
Right.
I asked him, does that scare you? And he basically said that he feels that because of Black Lives Matter and these things, it's in a way over-dramatizing the white people, and that all white people aren't bad, and all white people all white police aren't mistreating black people. I went into a little history lesson with him, but again, he's holding this sign, but he had not one example. I said, "You're running for president. If you were on the debate stage, what would you say?" Nothing. So,
That's awesome.
Hey, can I ask?
We have a well-publicized inability to jump, which I think doesn't really affect people of other races as much. It doesn't get talked about. Not since the 90s.
He did mention that there aren't, you rarely see black people as villains on TV shows.
What?
Yes. And I said to him, well, have you seen a black superhero? Because I haven't. Superman is not black. So I basically was pointing out that white people aren't, hurting for jobs in Hollywood or as TV news anchors. But again, it's hot air. There was not much to it.
Can I ask you?
Was there a big uproar after Idris Elba was going to be
one of the Thor movies?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I left out the most important part. He actually told me at the end. He said he is married to an African American.
Oh, see, he's got a black friend. Let me no, Jordan. No, we didn't get to cross paths in Iowa. I was there for about 4 days. You were there for a lot longer. Can you describe what you think would be the differences between your average New Hampshire voter and your average Iowa voter, or is there a difference?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, granted, I'm on a college campus, so you're going to have more liberal, younger people. But from the people I've met in New Hampshire so far, religion is not even in the equation. You don't confuse people talking about politics with a sermon. I did get a little bit of that in Iowa. We have an interview going up tomorrow on TYT Politics with a 17-year-old who is very against gay marriage. That was his main issue. Here, it's really about issues. I spoke with a Bernie supporter who is a freshman here at University of New Hampshire and says student debt is like a dark cloud over her head. So I would say the most glaring difference is people here are speaking about issues and speaking more about policy. People in Iowa, particularly at the Ted Cruz rally, which I know you went to one, are speaking more about values and religion.
The Ted Cruz rally, I expected it to be religious, Jordan. I did not expect him to insert religion in every sentence. Did you notice that?
I got to tell you, I mean, I've seen Cruz on TV and this and that, but being in the room, I've been to church twice in my life, and I thought it was a sermon. I couldn't.
You know,
It worked for him,
I brought
though.
Hank Thompson with me, and he made the observation that it felt like we were at mass because of the way people were. People were so quiet in the room, even, and like you are, and people were reverential almost to the crazy stuff he was saying.
Were they passing around a campaign donation plate?
You know what? All we needed was the guys passing around the plate. I did notice. Did he? I only went to one of his town halls, Jordan, where right before his wife introduces him. Heidi, I think is her name. And then right as he gets on stage, they give like one of those big Al Gore, Tipper Gore hugs and kisses. And then he goes on stage and talks about how much he loves her and says, I love you, my angel, calls her the angel. And he's over dramatic about it. And I couldn't help but thinking, they were just on the bus together. He acts like he hadn't seen her like he just came back from Iraq. And she's a dog.
They were standing backstage with each other.
They were just together on the bus the whole time. And then, so did you experience that?
Well, first off, he was late. He was about 45 minutes late to the event I was at. He was scheduled to go on at 11 a.m. He showed up at 11:45, so we were treated to Glenn Beck standing in for him, quoting George Washington.
Awesome.
And when he came on stage, I need to learn how to talk to my girlfriend like this, because he essentially said, and I quote, the only weakness of my wife Heidi is she doesn't have great vision.
Yeah.
That was about it. But no, I mean, it was a very, I mean, if you're an older woman who, finds that kind of stuff cute, there was a lot of, awes in the crowd. But he was very, very, but as soon as he pivoted to the speech, right out of the gate, I'm going after Planned Parenthood, I'm going after the IRS, and I'm going after Obama's unlawful executive actions. The people that I spoke to after that support him, when I asked, Ted Cruz says he's going to take America back, I asked where it went. They don't have an answer.
So, Jordan, I want to go back to what you talked about regarding the issues and how important they are to voters in New Hampshire. And you talked a little bit about student loan debt and how young people in New Hampshire are more concerned with that as opposed to young people in Iowa that are more concerned about religion. Do you think that there's a possibility that Bernie's doing a little better than Hillary in the polls because of his education policy? I mean, I don't know if you looked into that at all, because they do differ on their education policy a little bit.
Well, I met young people at a Hillary rally in Iowa who were undecided. But as I went through the issues, the main thing that they cared about was the college affordability issue. And it's interesting, if you speak with young people who are undecided versus people at a Trump rally, the young people, whether they're for Hillary or Bernie, are very intelligent on the issues. But they are very focused on the college affordability issue, and I would say that's 95% of what they like about Bernie. Tonight, go ahead.
Can I ask you, what do the young people say they like about Hillary over Bernie?
I spoke with one younger person today. I didn't get her age, but I would guess it's about between 21 and 24. She actually said you could be moderate and progressive at the same time. And she said that Hillary, I believe that she's more realistic and that she will be able to get things done. It's not that she doesn't like Bernie, but she thinks...
So realistic, this is the thing that drives me crazy about Democrats. I talked about it a little bit after the town hall. Democrats are so used to and so conditioned to be weak that they use words like realistic when they hear policies that really continue the status quo, right?
Yes.
So it's like, yes, the status quo is very realistic. You don't have to do anything, and we'll just continue doing the same thing that Obama's been doing, which is incremental change, 5% change. I don't want 5% change. I don't want realistic. I want someone who's ambitious enough to realize that we have issues with our political system and who has ambitious solutions to solve those issues.
So
right?
I'm with you 100%. Yeah. Well, so Bernie Sanders says he wants a $15 minimum wage. Right. Hillary Clinton says I want a $12 minimum wage. So she'll probably get a $7. I don't know what the hell. What are you doing?
You did this great video in Iowa where, was it you or Jordan? I can't remember now. It's all becoming a blur because we're doing so much election coverage. But there was a video that we produced. And basically Democrats who were supportive of Hillary were like, yeah, you know what? I don't want $15 an hour. It's not realistic. Let's go for 12 because that's more realistic. And it's so demonstrative of how Democrats work. Be strong.
Well, why not
how
just
you
go for
negotiate.
why not go for the minimum wage we have right now? That's incredibly realistic. Oh shit, we've got it.
I bet we could get that.
I should run for president.
It's so frustrating.
Anna, I loved your response to that video, calling them losers.
Yes, well, that's what they are. Democrats are really good at being losers. Let's keep it real.
Well,
love
those individual
concessions.
Democrats have been fooled, I would argue.
No, they're not fooled.
Well,
okay?
they use the word "get stuff done," which is literally the words the Hillary campaign has been saying. Please believe us. Say "get stuff done." Say it, and then they say, "Oh, I think she'll get stuff done." That is only because of the advertisement she's been running.
But like, listen
Nobody
to the
was
answers in that video, John. I mean, they gave specific policy positions. I'm talking about the voters that were in this video, right? No, I don't want $15 an hour. That's unrealistic. Let's go to 12. And also, if you listen to the town hall, how many times did you hear the word compromise? Compromise.
No,
Both
I get that.
candidates
I
mentioned
would argue-
compromise. Hillary a little more.
I
than
don't even.
Bernie.
My argument was actually the opposite. I don't think that the people that were being interviewed in that video could say what Hillary's position was. Like when she says, "We're not going to go for single payer. We're going to strengthen the ACA." How?
Well, so this is,
I don't know.
So that's exactly this. That's
what
what
an
I would.
example of strengthening it is.
I would like Jordan, if the next time you talk to a Hillary voter in New Hampshire, if you could ask them when they say that, now she can get stuff done. Ask them what stuff.
Yeah.
Because you know what she can get done? A lot of right-wing shit. She got the Iraq War done. She got the banks deregulated. There's a lot of shit she's gotten done, but it's not liberal, progressive policy.
Well,
So
and also, shouldn't it bother us? I don't remember, I could be wrong, I don't remember anyone 6 months ago or a year ago or 5 years ago ever saying, "You know what, I hope Hillary runs someday. She gets stuff done." Nobody ever said she's the woman who gets stuff done.
Ever.
It's only been for the past 3.5 weeks. We can probably find the exact day they began saying that.
By the way, I want to clarify something that we said during a previous debate. We were talking about Bernie Sanders' education policy versus Hillary's education policy, and Cenk had mentioned that Adam Green from PCCC mentioned that he looked into both education policies. They did an analysis, and they found that Hillary's is more progressive, right? So I thought that was really interesting, and I reached out to Adam, and he's like, "That's actually not true." So
Oh, really?
we're gonna have a call hopefully soon, so he can give me the information that he
That'd be a
has,
good interview.
because I'm really curious. I think Cenk probably misunderstood something he said. It wasn't meant to be deceptive. Obviously, Cenk is a staunch Bernie supporter, but look,
This was like the one place he preferred Hillary, actually.
yeah.
It turns out it was based off of a misperception.
Exactly. I feel like if you are a progressive, if you genuinely want change and you genuinely believe that you need a political revolution in this country in order to get money out of politics, in order to fight corruption, then you want a candidate that has ambitious goals. You don't want a candidate who's like, "I'm going to compromise with the Republicans, but I'm going to fight." No, you can't compromise with Republicans. Republicans have no interest in compromising. I'm done compromising with Republicans. You're going to be a leader, okay?
Yes.
And you're going to fight. That's what we want, and that's what Bernie wants to do.
Jordan, are you still there?
I am.
So what do you expect different out of a New Hampshire debate than we got out of an Iowa debate?
Well, I just want to set the scene. I might have not mentioned it, but there were literally no Hillary supporters outside in the supporter area. The police cordoned it off so that Hillary supporters and Bernie supporters have a little corner. From Bernie Sanders supporters arrived around 4:30 Eastern and have been there pretty much till 7:30 and now. And there was no Hillary supporters. I reached out to the Hillary Clinton campaign to ask why you didn't have volunteers or paid staffers out there. Haven't heard back, but that doesn't really lend a lot of credence that they're really trying in New Hampshire at this point. Because every debate I've been to so far, it's had at least, they even had one or two O'Malley people at all of the debates. So Hillary, there's no presence.
Well, I think that Hillary Clinton, her support, I think today was Social Security check day. So they were probably at home waiting for their Social Security checks. Right? Isn't that what Hillary Clinton supporters would be doing today? I don't know. I'm trying to make an age joke.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, okay. I'm like, are you trying to say that they're... Anyway, okay. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
So I don't understand. So inside the debate hall, they have like a free speech section or something for the supporters? Jordan?
Yeah. At every debate, the police really rope off a corner or pretty much a street corner, could go a whole block. So supporters on both sides can chant their slogans, talk to the media. So here, about a minute's walk away from the actual debate entrance, they had Bernie Sanders supporters out in full force. There was literally not a one Hillary Clinton supporter. It's basically the police do it so that they don't block traffic.
Okay.
And I'll also say I spoke with one Hillary supporter who was online, an older woman. I think her statement pretty much summed it up. She said, "I don't want a revolution. I want a president."
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
I think that's fine. Especially some older people don't think that it's necessary.
Well,
they've been beaten down by politicians their whole life, and they've largely given up. I get that. I don't admire it.
Maybe I'm being unfair to older people, but here's what the reality is, okay? My generation is the first generation that is actually worse off than the generation before me, right? So I do want a political revolution, right? Because I'm feeling the consequences of the deregulation. I'm feeling the consequences of the governmental corruption. I'm feeling the consequences on an economic level, on a personal level, when it comes to so many different things. And I'm doing pretty well for myself. I don't have college loans. I have a good job. But even in this great financial situation that I'm in, I'm still unable to buy a home. I'm still stressed out about paying for a wedding. I'm still stressed out about my finances. I can't imagine what other people in my generation are going through right now with the college loans that they have to deal with. So you know what? A lot of people do want a revolution, which is why young voters are more supportive of Bernie as opposed to Hillary. We don't want the status quo. We want changes.
Hillary also in Iowa, I thought it was interesting. She lost not only young women, but women in their 30s also. She didn't even carry them. So she's a weak candidate. That's why she lost. You know what they say, that it's unrealistic what Bernie thinks. He can't get the... Wasn't it unrealistic to elect a black guy with a Muslim name in America? The first black guy with his name Barack Obama, 7 years after the biggest terrorist attack in history.
His middle name is Hussein.
Hussein. And was that unrealistic? So, it's like you change the conditions, That's what leaders do. Leaders, they don't listen to polls. They change hearts and minds. And that's what Barack Obama did. And that's what Bernie Sanders is going to do. And you don't, you don't negotiate from the middle of the other guy's position. You start from the extreme end of your position. And then also the Republicans can say, hey, he wanted $15 minimum wage. We settled at $11. So at least you could give them a place to negotiate. Every time the Democrats move to the right, you know what you do? You further radicalize the Republican Party because now they have to keep moving right to get away from you.
They're never going to let you slip past them.
Right.
And then they just stay as moderates. That's not how it works.
Exactly right. So they're going to outright you, right? So you have to go left, and you pull the whole. What you're going to do is take the political conversation and you bring it back a little closer to sanity.
Because she's largely disregarding the ability of a politician, especially the president, to do any sort of persuasion whatsoever.
Whatsoever.
You know what? Right now, I'm looking at the craziest conservatives in the House. They don't seem to like it, so I guess it couldn't happen. As if the only thing you can do as president is go to Paul Ryan and say, hey, could I please have some more?
Yeah.
No, you go to the American people and you convince them that what you believe is the right thing. And if you get enough support in a policy, so long as it's not universal background checks, it can become law.
Yeah. We don't want a defeatist. We want a defender.
Yeah.
Yes.
We want to defeat her.
Oh, go ahead, Jordan.
An interesting observation is when I asked some of these Hillary supporters, what makes you think she's going to have an easier time getting things done with Republicans? Her last name is Clinton. She's a woman. And have you seen Fox News lately? And actually one woman, it's on camera in the video, said, well, that's a good point. I pointed out to one gentleman, if Bernie Sanders becomes president, I think Republicans would have to come to the conclusion, the party's over. We need to change. So I think a lot of them feel that agree with this misnomer that she has a better chance of getting things done, so to speak, than Bernie does. And when I pushed back, they didn't seem to think about it that way or have an answer.